Hello, and welcome to Katie's Food Carnival. I'm Katie O'Reilly, and this is my episode on Spooky Bites. Welcome to my Halloween episode. Ever since I was little, I loved Halloween. I could not imagine something cooler than dressing up in any kind of costume you want and getting free candy an entire night. We used to plot our route around the neighborhood to make sure we could maximize how much candy we would get. It was so fun. Then I get to the age where I'm kind of in that cusp, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm too old to trick or treat? I didn't even know there was such a thing. So I waited peacefully and dormantly until I had babies. And then, soon as I could, I'd buy him a costume, sometimes several, and dress him up and go trick-or-treating with my infant. Do you think the people at the door knew that the candy might have been for me? Who cares? All right, guilty. I'm a mom who wants candy, right? Halloween. Well, I know a guy, an adult man named Joe Morrissey, who absolutely loves Halloween, but he's not as much into the candy as the costume. And boy, his adult talents and creativity have really developed into something that I cannot miss. I am taking you into his own personal Halloween costume gallery, where it's like a museum. In his home, he has handcrafted incredible costumes. Then I'm designing some spooky bites, some really spooky adult bites, not candy-based. These are your savory flavors, but they tie in the spook. And it's fun. And then we're gonna eat like it's a spooky graveyard. Woo! Welcome. I'm so excited for you to join me in Spooky Bites. Let's go meet Joe. As I promised, this is such an exciting segment of Spooky Bites. My featured guest here is Joe Morrissey, Joseph S. Morrissey, and we are now in the home of his creative costume designs. And I would say Joe himself is not spooky, but his talents are beyond. They are so wonderful, and we have been invited into his home. I almost want to say museum at this point. You're going to see a collection that's outstanding. Hi, Joseph Morrissey.
Hi. Or today I'm Captain Farrell.
Captain Farrell. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Okay, so Captain, tell us. This is an extraordinary collection. This is not just a small little hobby for you. This is an art form.
Yeah, it's a passion that happened over a long period of time, and I'm just thrilled to be part of the show, part of the new network.
Thank you.
This is really exciting, and of course, I wouldn't be here if I was a shy person. So, of course,
we like that Andy Kaufman-esque
I love
quality. Yeah, we like that.
So thanks.
Absolutely. So, okay. There is something different about you and many people out there, because what you do is you actually take, I don't want to speak for you, but you take things and you see them and you almost, I want to say recycle them or repurpose them is a better word, and design them into such extraordinary designs. Now you're going to have to tell us what goes on inside the head that does that. Where's your creative process base, and how do you come full fruition? Yes, it is. That's the spooky part.
You know, I'm so glad to be part of the show, because I think of costumes and Halloween the same way that I think you think about food. I mean, some people, food is like clothing, right? You eat to live. You wear clothes to stay warm, to cover yourself. Other people think about food as an art form.
Yeah,
and
it's so true.
I think about costumes the same way. And it's Yeah, you can go out on Halloween and go to the store and buy a costume and be a pirate. Or
As many of us do, and that's okay too, but...
That's okay too. But there's an element of enjoying the process that is not just the end result. And I think for me, the real...
All right, tell us about that. Like, okay, I'm going to pull you a little deper on that one. What is that process?
I get
Explain
my
that a little bit.
from all kinds of different ways. It's random. So, for example, with my Gladiator.
Gladiator.
I saw the movie and I thought, I need to make that. I can make that. I'm looking at it. I'm watching the details, and I'm watching the movie because it's a great movie. But I'm thinking like, how during the movie, I'm like, how would I make that? How would I do it? And it starts with research. Now,
so your head actually in the movie theater is watching this on the screen and saying, I need to make this. So
yeah,
all right, so
I start
this
my
is
research.
an extremely elaborate costume here. This is not simple. Okay, so research.
No, I bought the book. I go online. I read. This is actually hardened leather armor, which means that you form it, you boil it almost, form it into shape.
Where does one? Did you go out and buy that?
I got the Armorer Library.
Yeah.
I bought the book, but you start putting the pieces together. Like, where would I get the materials? How would I make it? What's the limit of my ability?
Okay.
To give you an example, when I saw The Martian, I'm looking at him going, oh, I could never make that.
Spooky.
I'd love his suit, his space suit, because I do have a couple of space suits. And I'm like, I can't do that. Prometheus, I can't make that. I'm not talented enough, right? I don't sew.
Okay, so self-doubt comes first.
But I look,
and then the challenge is on.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing things that you actually have made.
But now you have to find the materials. You have to figure out what are you going to make out of it. You have to figure out, you can't just go out and buy stuff. It'd be way too expensive.
Right.
So this is an old bathrobe.
A furry bathrobe? Oh, this is a bathrobe.
Yeah, this is.
I thought that was like the fur.
I recycle everything. This is just, this is the hardened leather. So you create a form, you boil it,
That's a real talent. I mean,
and then you brush on melted wax.
And then there's
dangerous, by the way.
Yeah.
Melted wax.
This is not suggested at home. I mean, even for myself. But okay, there's like little coins. There's more bathrobe.
Yeah,
okay, so you're utilizing. Wow. Okay, so all accessories are represented. Is this an actual sword?
Yeah, that's an actual sword.
Great stuff.
The hardest things were these, because you needed to make it sell. You needed mirror images of his horse. He talks about the love of his horses on his chest. So that was the focal point. So everything had to do with these two. That I found at a resale shop. They were bookends. And so I cut off the bottoms.
That is so cool.
I had to grind down, half the sides of it. This is actually a trivet where you put like a hot pan, a trivet. They just had to match.
We're in food. We love food. How long did something that elaborate, take you to create to this level?
Years, because you
like 3-4 years, and you're building it.
Usually I start out like when I started. I was costumed as a kid, right? Halloween is a big deal. Your mom buys you a costume, you put it on. And then we started kind of making costumes, and I think that's what, to me, is more fun. I can think about it, and so every year I come up with some new costume for Halloween, so I start in January, February, so I think, okay, what's it going to be this year?
Okay.
Usually tied to some movie or some event.
So a theme that's timely.
Some kind of theme.
Yeah.
You'll see my Hurt Locker suit in the office that was coinciding with the movie. And so I just started thinking, like, what can I make it out of? What you try and you fail. You look to buy things. You look to, so for example, with my samurai, I actually bought this in the under the kimono in Japan.
So cool.
Along with the little hilts called tsuba on the sword. Everything else I made, I just hardware store steel. Leather. This one is different. So this one came before this one. That one's just flat leather pieces. They're sewed together, and the red is magic marker.
So you really like just kind of go with it and see it and incorporate it, and then do you know, like any artist, do you know when you're done?
No, I'm never done.
Okay, so you're kind of still adding to this whole array. Whenever you see something that inspires you, you're like, oh, that's perfect for this.
Yeah, so it's funny. So there's different levels of costume, right? There's the people that go to a costume party and throw on a wig and a mask and go to the party. There's other people that really think about it.
A wig and a mask?
We put a lot of creative thought into. There's so much creative thought that people appreciate. So whether you go as a pair of dice or some kind of a current like image, some movie event or some pop culture event,
right?
When I think the big thing is when you go to a costume party, you want people to look at you and go, "Oh, that's so cool," or "Oh, I get it." "Oh, you're like, oh my God, like that's so cool." And I think that's the way that you think about food. I mean, you don't just there's an enjoyment to making the food, but then the real sell is when people taste it for the first time.
Oh, I am.
You're watching their face, and they go,
I know.
"Oh my God! Oh, you got to try this. You got to try this."
It starts creating in your head, and it's like a symphony. I'm like, you can hear it. Like I can play food in my head, every ingredient, and then have it come together. And like you said, all of a sudden you're putting it, or somebody's putting it in their mouth, and you're like so excited about their response.
And they're like, I want to take a picture of it. Like,
and then when they respond perfectly, you're like, oh. Yes.
And I think that's what that's kind of the joy that I feel when I go out. In fact, I do a lot of.
This is what I want. Yeah, I was going to say there is so much purpose. You are an amazing person, and your heart is in such the right place. So this is so phenomenal. Talk about what you do with these costumes, because that's a real gift that you give back, and I think it's got to be talked about.
I do a lot of charity work, so I do a lot of. I do Make-A-Wish Foundation, which if you've ever dealt with kids with real difficult issues of parents, when I go to Lurie Children's, it's the same thing. It's you're really there just to take their mind off it. It's not it's not about you. It's not about like, oh, look at how good my costume is. Look at me. It's you're just providing a service. I also do American Diabetes Association. I do the kids camps, and that's a tough one because the kids are learning how to give themselves shots for the first time, and it's really hard. And so I usually come in right after that. And this year was
what a good thing. So you come in right after they have to go through this painful. Sad process.
Yeah.
That's a sad hardship for children to have.
Last year I went as King Arthur because the theme was Camelot for the diabetes.
Oh,
kids.
Cool!
And so I walk in and I'm telling the story of King Arthur and Camelot, and the kids are like, oh wow, like I know the story, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, you know what? I should probably check my blood sugar. I'm kind of sweating, and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah. I pull out my diabetes kit and I check my blood sugar and I take out my insulin pen and I go, King Arthur's not diabetic. I'm like, yes, he is.
So they feel normal. They feel part of it. That
normal.
Is so
this year was
wonderful.
Indiana Jones, and so I went as Indiana Jones, and I had these big paper mache balloons filled with spiders and dinosaurs.
Oh,
it's
a great surprise.
Smashed them open, and the kids all went crazy. But it's I really enjoyed it. And it's seeing. I think with me, it's like seeing the looks on people's faces when they go, oh, it's like, wow, this is really cool. Like how'd you make it? So I love it. It's a passion.
Oh, it's fantastic. Okay.
And Halloween is, of course, the greatest time of the year.
Yeah, it's the inspiration behind it.
My family calls it Joe's Feast Day.
It is. It's like the high holy holiday for you.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one question. There's a cooking competition show that presents like a mystery box of ingredients where people have to go and create something, and people love to watch that. Now, what do you think your ability would be if somebody set down a mystery box of like costume accessory parts and things? Do you how long do you think, if we gave you 40 minutes, could you whip something together?
Yeah.
Does your mind work like that? Because we could start a new show like that.
Well, I look at visual clues. So, for example, I work for a company called Exclusive Windows. It's a really high-end windows doors, big mahogany.
Nice, beautiful.
And when I was in the back storeroom, I found these little metal pieces, and they were just metal like this. And I thought, that looks like scale armor.
Okay, so it does happen for you.
Researching scale armor, and I go, oh. Wow, let's look at Byzantine, because that's really
great.
Most people don't even know the Byzantines. The empire fell on May 29th, my birthday.
Yay.
But they were the spin-off from the Roman Empire, towards the east. And I thought, wow, I wonder if I can order these online. So we just ordered a bunch of these metal samples.
Oh, how cool! How cool is that?
And they're really for people that are deciding on, do they want brass? Well, of course, no one does brass anymore, but It's all oil browns and
Look
satin.
at that.
But,
You could almost make earrings out of it.
but I'm like, I wonder if I could find like enough to make an entire suit of armor. And sure enough, the internet.
All right,
eBay.
so Byzantine.
So I'm like, yeah. So I'm gonna make Byzantine armor out of this.
And what a success. All dressed up. Lots of costumes. These costumes seem to be taking us in so many directions. I wasn't even sure what exactly to design for this Spooky Bites. However, my mind is always working. So here I go. Anything you can drizzle something funky and colorful and yet still have it be flavorful is really the angle you want to get, especially if you're having a party. So this little Spooky Bite is honestly just a ham croqueta. So your Spanish ham croqueta, beautifully wrapped up. However, we squiggled a little sauce. We have a lemon Parmesan aioli and a cilantro scallion Parmesan aioli. Both are delicious, both are flavorful. They go beautifully with the bite. They squiggle it out so it's all Halloween spooky. And in the middle here, we have a tomato rustic sauce to dip. Now you can go in a lot of directions. You can go with a Romanesco. You can go in all kinds of directions. I'm sorry, a Romesco, because right here I have your Romanesco. So one's a vegetable, one's a sauce made out of peppers. Really intriguing, very easy to kind of slip those words in either way. So Romanesco here. A spooky little vegetable to decorate your trays if you have it available. Always fun. It just looks bizarre. It's kind of a combination between broccoli and cauliflower. But then it takes on this ghoulish kind of feel. Kind of odd. But you know what? If people wanted to eat it, I always say put edible stuff on your trays. So if somebody wanted to go there. But let's get back to our croquetas for a minute. Here's our little Spooky Bites. So delicious. I'm going to try one. I'm going to dip. And I'm going to show you that this is a fun Spooky Bite at a party. So delicious. Smooth, creamy, but crisp. They hold together. They're so fun. I'm going to dip the other sauce just to prove that I don't have favorites. Because I don't. They're both so fabulous. I would go back for bites either way. And that's what you always want. You want your guests to want more of your food. So this is fabulous. The next one's really fun too. So let's head over in the other direction. Okay, I don't even have to say it, that food on a bone is always spooky. So this is a perfect opportunity to serve an absolute favorite for partygoers, which is your lamb chops. These beautiful lamb chops come usually in a rack of about 6 bones. You cook the rack solid, okay, so you would put any kind of flavoring. Garlic, parsley is what I usually do, a little olive oil rub. Cook them in the oven to a nice temperature, then let them rest. And before your guests arrive, you slice them. You're gonna see the gorgeous pink nature of these lamb chops. You're never gonna wanna see them gray, okay? As much as gray food is really spooky, not for this. You don't wanna spook the palate. So what we've got going on here is a gorgeous pile of bones, okay? Our spooky, spooky bones. We put it on a bed of wilted spinach leaves because anything groovy and wilted is kind of creepy too. And then you tie in the Byzantine costumes that we just saw, and we feel like we're a little bit at a feast. And this brings you there. So what we've got going on is any kind of sauce with fruit or mint, a dried forest fruit. So I'm gonna say dried cherries, dried cranberries, mint. Right now I've got a cherry cranberry combination, but you could also do a mint jelly. People enjoy that. So you kind of choose what you like. Mint can be mixed with apples. Anything that brings out fall flavors is delicious. But feel free to do the sauce, I suggest, on the side, because really what people want to taste is that gorgeous lamb flavor. Now, one thing to be prepared. I had lamb chops at my wedding, and I had a guest, they were just supposed to be an appetizer. I had a guest come up and tell me he ate 17 lamb chops. Okay, well, quantities need to be required, but you can't always limit your guests. But be prepared that when people get these, they want them. So sometimes you send them out in platters, limited at different times. So it's not somebody's full dinner, because they'll take the whole platter. Always a good tip. Limit your quantities coming out of your kitchen. Have enough, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, these are gorgeous. I'm going to take a bite. You're going to see how it looks to eat a bone at a party, because there is kind of that, you don't want to be talking to your favorite vegetarian friend while you're doing it. But if not, it's a good one. So here we go. Spooky bite of gorgeous, gorgeous lamb chop. I'm once again going to show you this gorgeous color, because this is beautiful. The herb rub on the outside, just with garlic, a little parsley, some fresh herbs if you want. You're going to do a little dip. See how it holds on there? Oh. How do you eat a lamb chop at a party? Like a lollipop, really. Yum. This is so fun. We are actually standing for tasting time this time, and there's a couple of reasons we're doing that. The first is that most Halloween parties and Spooky Bites are served to your guests while you're standing. You're holding your drink, you want to eat a bite, and you have to know how it feels. And does anything drip on you? How does it hold together? All those things go into designing the perfect bite for Spooky Bites tasting time. And this is a ham croqueta, a cured ham, which is fantastic. And the spooky elements are a garlic Parmesan lemon aioli or a cilantro aioli, drizzled just on top. And then, this is really cool. This is a romesco sauce, and this, very similar word, is romanesco. And that's a vegetable, very spooky vegetable, that's kind of a cross. Look at it, it's like a hybrid between cauliflower and broccoli. It's super delicious, but for decor on your table, I mean, you cannot get spookier than that. People will definitely be like, what?
Oh.
Cilantro or lemon Parmesan. Both being aiolis.
That's delicious.
A beautiful bite. A beautiful bite. If any of you are not sure, it's a little confusing, because a croqueta tastes, the texture seems like it would be like a mashed potato. And the beauty is it's actually a bechamel sauce. And then you would mix any ingredients. So in Spain, ham is a very traditional one. It also, cured meats kind of keep with the Byzantine time frame that we're kind of gearing and designing our Spooky Bites for. Plus, a lot of people just enjoy this. But if you do have vegetarians, you can just go cheese in that, and there's no other ingredients that would be offensive to them. You can also do your creative work with your infused flavors. So for the aioli, for example, if you take a nice olive oil and put some garlic, fresh garlic into it, and warm it slightly. Don't roast the garlic, but warm it. It will infuse the garlic into the olive oil. You can then take that olive oil and mix it with your mayonnaise, with your Parmesan, your lettuce, or your Parmesan, your lemon, not lettuce, your lemon, your salt and your pepper, and make that your beautiful bright aioli. Another complete inspiration from the Byzantine era is meat on a bone. And the best meat on a bone is lamb chops. So I've got to tell you, this is a delight. We have beautiful lamb chops on a bed of garlic spinach, and then this spooky purple potatoes scream Halloween. And this is just for fun. These fingerling heirloom potatoes come in so many colors. I highlighted the purple ones because they're my kids' favorite, they're everybody's favorite, and it's the most sought after colored potato on the platter. For the lamb chops, we created a cherry sauce. And the reason I choose cherry is because it's kind of like the fruits of the forest, kind of that freshness that's coming out. And I think you're just going to love it. But this can be finger food, or it can be a little bit of fork or a spoon. So you decide.
Oh, it'll be finger food.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Resisting the urge to grab one.
Let's dive in.
But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah, let's do this.
Unbelievable.
Beautiful. Yeah, don't you just... Yum.
The texture on that is perfect. Mm-hmm. That is perfectly cooked.
Thank you. You always want them pink.
Oh, yeah.
Never gray. Never gray.
Well, let me ask you something, because, the cherry sauce is good.
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist when it comes to, like, especially with, like, lamb. Like, I like a lamb chop with mint jelly. I hate to say it, but it's like, that's how I want it. Like, you,
Right.
Like, same with costumes, right? I see people, you hang out, like prop parties, costume parties, and you get, like, Stormtrooper that shows up as patriotic Stormtrooper.
Right. And you're like, oh, it's off a little bit.
No.
Right.
It's like, how do you deal with the people that want a traditional, like, versus you being creative and innovative and saying, yeah, well, we're not.
Well,
just always going because you have to balance it, right?
Okay, that's a really interesting question because I do that in my artistry a lot. First, I like to listen to the vision. When I talk with somebody about designing food specifically for them, everybody tastes food differently, and everybody has a different perspective or memory or vision, like culinary vision. I mean, like taste buds are going in a certain way. With food, this is a prime example. And you can go mint, you can go cranberry, you can go pomegranate, or cherry. There's a lot of different ways, sometimes just pure with just garlic and herbs. You know, sometimes people like a creamier element, like a tzatziki or something, because they're Greek, and they have that flavor profile in mind. Find out who your audience is and represent that culture a little bit. And a sauce is a great way to do that. But don't necessarily make that decision to turn it around. You don't want to just pick up a paintbrush and go straight to cubism. You want to start with your foundation. It's the same thing with food. Great question, though.
Oh, yeah.
Did you try the purple potato?
No, I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. These are so cool.
You know,
so cool. They're like spooky. Yeah, do it.
It's interesting that it tastes like exactly like potato. You expect it to taste different.
There's a slight... Okay, try it next to the yellow potato because there is a slight difference. So this garlic spinach is so rustic and it is like a feast with these lamb chops. You've got to have a bite.
And it's so good for you.
I know, it is. Popeye.
Oh.
It's a great base for building your chops up like that so they're not just lying flat. Yeah, you don't ever want to overcook your vegetables because there is a beauty and a texture that goes into the vegetables that needs to be referenced, and we need to reserve the right to maintain the integrity of that vegetable as well, because that's a representative on this plate as well. Even though it's just used as kind of a base ingredient, it's still a major accoutrement, and people will eat anything on the plate. Like, I always talk about this, but anything you put on a plate, assume somebody's going to eat. These are edible flowers, so just in case you're decorating, assume at a party somebody's going to put it in their mouth, because they will eventually.
You know, you guys do, like, huge events.
Yeah.
Catering. I mean,
right.
I mean, what's
very
the largest,
high end.
How many people have you served?
I mean, thousands. You know, I mean, honestly, our company is, I've fed over 40,000 people probably this year alone. But our clients are very high end, and I have to respect, not everybody is, well, everybody has a beautiful palate. That's why they come to me. So generally what I do is I make sure that what is being produced is traditional, simple done perfect. Let the flavors sing, but use the right ingredients. And that's what it comes down to, is really have that foundation in your cooking. Your sauces should all have a base profile. That's why with sauces in particular, you don't want to start with a sodium base or anything. Sodium is your biggest killer in flavors. People think more salt, you know, and it's not true. Less salt, add salt later. Very important in the healthy world.
Thanks.
Here we go. Once again, thanks for tasting with us.
So good.
Yum. Yum. I love
Absolutely.
rapini. Yeah. Like, that's the type of thing I could almost be vegetarian. Happy Halloween. This is Spooky
Happy
Bites.
Halloween.